Don't you talk about my family.
I'll talk about your family. Listen, for years, people going around saying, black is beautiful. They took one look at your family and said, hold everything.
Artificial intelligence is here, and it is here to stay. But is it paving the way for Antichrist and his beast system? More on that shortly, but I first need to remind you that your eternal state is far more important than your current state. If you have never received Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, I urge you to do so today. Otherwise, if you leave this out of life and are of the age of accountability, you will go into the lake of fire, separated from God. So will you please make Jesus Christ your Lord on today? Artificial intelligence has been around for quite some time, but over the past couple of years, it has ratcheted up to another level, a level that has many concerned.
Well, that's something you wouldn't understand. We have inner beauty.
Yeah, what?
Inner beauty.
Well, you better put your liver where your face is.
You are crude and evil, and most of all, you stupid.
How'd you like one across your lips?
Come on, try.
Come on, now.
Come on, Stumpy.
Stumpy, I'm tall enough to give you 3 of these in your nose. Come on.
Oh, no, you won't.
Yes, I will.
Oh, no, you won't. Oh, no, you won't.
Would you two stop it?
Tell us.
I'm surprised at you. You mean to tell me you'd hit a lady?
No, I wouldn't hit a lady, but I'd hit her.
Now that's an example of AI being used for some good, clean fun. Anyone would easily recognize those are computer generated babies with adult voices behind them. But let's get serious now. How advanced has AI gotten? Can it be used for deceptive purposes?
Here is the problem. False teachers are rising up in the last days. But I'm your guide, sent by God with a new revelation. Angels appear to me, and God himself speaks to me. So what I say, it comes directly from God. Guess what? That was not me. That was 100% AI generated. That's how easily you can deceive people these days. Would you have spotted it?
See what I mean? I recently saw a man demonstrate how easily it is to create a video showing a man entering a hotel with a woman that is not his wife. But it was all a fake created by artificial intelligence. He warned that AI is going to destroy many marriages. When the apostles came to Jesus asking him what the sign of his coming would be and the end of the age, his first response was to beware of deception. Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately saying, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" And Jesus answered and said to them, "Take heed that no one deceives you." Matthew chapter 24, verses 3 through 4. Deception is one of the greatest signs of the last days, and it is playing out right before our eyes.
Sir, you still have to pay for the slushie.
My sister, I have a dream that one day this slushie will be free for all who thirst.
Sir, hey, sir, this isn't about dreams. It's about paying for your slushie. Sir, you still need to pay for those.
I have a dream that one day these will be free of charge. Today is that day.
Now, were you able to detect that was not really Martin Luther King Jr.?
I can't believe this man MLK had the audacity to call my phone and challenge me to a one-on-one.
I've been doing this before he was born, you hear me? This ain't no dream, this a nightmare.
Again, examples of people using AI for a little fun, and who is against having a good laugh from time to time? But could this be conditioning us for sinister purposes that are on the horizon? I am speaking of the time known in the Bible as the tribulation. This is the 7-year period that is prophesied of when Antichrist comes to power. Are we living in a real life dress rehearsal that is getting the world prepared to walk right into his trap?
And COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance. If we want to stop this epidemic, We need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin. What we have seen so far, it's corporations and governments collecting data about where we go, who we meet, what movies we watch. The next phase is the surveillance going under our skin. The privileged access now belongs to corporations like Google. They can have access to things happening ultimately inside my body and brain, which I don't know about. There is somebody out there, not just one, all kinds of corporations and governments, that maybe not today, maybe in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, they will have privileged access to what's happening inside me, more privileged than my access. They could understand what is happening in my brain better than I understand it. You don't have to give them permission. I mean, in some countries, maybe you have no choice at all. But even in a democracy like the United States, a lot of the information that enables an external entity to hack you, nobody asks you whether you want to give it away or not. Now, at present, most of the data that is being collected on humans is still from the skin outwards. We haven't seen nothing yet. We are still just at the tip of this revolution, because at present, whether it's Google and Facebook and Amazon, or whether it's the government or whatever, they are trying to understand people mainly on the basis of what I search, what I buy, where I go, who I meet. It's all external. The really big revolution, which is coming very quickly, will be when the AI revolution and machine learning and all that, the infotech revolution, meets and merges with the biotech revolution and goes under the skin.
That was Yuval Noah Harari, an Israeli historian and professor in the Department of History at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He's also best-selling author of Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, that put him on the map in 2014, and he has quite a bit to say about artificial intelligence. Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 17 states, "He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." Folks, the means to implement the mark on the right hand or forehead is here, and individuals like Harari are strong advocates.
I think that within, say, 200 years, to give a conservative estimate, there won't be Homo sapiens on planet Earth.
200 years?
200 years, and I think this is a conservative estimate.
Wow.
Maybe even 100 years. It's not that we'll destroy ourselves in some calamity. Much more likely, we will use advanced technology, biotechnology, nanotechnology, direct brain-computer interfaces to upgrade Homo sapiens into different kinds of beings which are different from us, much more than we are different from Neanderthals. Beings which will have different bodies, different minds, different brains. I mean, the big products of the coming century will not be shoes or clothes or cars or weapons. The big products of the 21st century are going to be bodies and minds. So I think we are heading towards the upgrading of Homo sapiens into gods.
You heard it right. Harari says we are upgrading humans to gods. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, verse 37, "But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be." One of the characteristics of the days of Noah was giants on the earth, known as Nephilim in Genesis chapter 6, where a hybrid race existed. Could transhumanism be a repeat of that today?
Ideally, you have people forming up opinions and desires and then voting for a government that represents them. But we know it works both ways. The government has enormous power to shape the opinions and desires of the population, and this power only increases today with the new technologies of surveillance, mass surveillance and social media and so forth. So when the government the government is not just responsive to the will of the people, it can shape the will of the people. And this really destabilizes the democratic system. Also, the media has an enormous role to play in this. That if the government has too much control over the media, then it's not like people are forming their own independent views about what's happening. We now have the power, or at least not we, but some governments and corporations for the first time in history have the power to basically hack human beings. There is a lot of talk about hacking computers, hacking smartphones, hacking bank accounts, but the big story of our era is the ability to hack human beings. And by this I mean that if you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible. And in such a situation, the old democratic system stopped functioning. We need to reinvent democracy for this new era in which humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
Harari says government can shape the will of the people through tools like surveillance and influence of social media. This is exactly what the government of Antichrist will do when he declares that all must worship him or else will not be able to buy or sell. Rejection of his beast system will mean a death sentence. Elon Musk has spearheaded the creation of the Neuralink brain chip with the goal of connecting brains to computer systems. This hacking of human brains is being advocated by Harari.
Here to talk about our future, both the future of our species, Homo sapiens, and about your own personal future. And nobody really knows what the world would look like in 2050. The only thing we know for sure is that it will be a very, very different world than today. And perhaps the most important thing to know about the future is that humans will soon be hackable animals, animals that can be hacked. There is a lot of talk these days about hacking computers and email accounts and smartphones and bank accounts, but we're actually entering the era in which it will be possible to hack human beings. Now, what does it mean to hack a human being? It means to create an algorithm that can understand you better than you understand yourself, and can therefore predict your choices, manipulate your desires, and make decisions on your behalf.
Humans can be hacked. Once hacked, Harari declares free will be a thing of the past. These systems are being developed right before our eyes, and the sad thing is that most today, including religious leaders, do not recognize what is taking place. We are living in a repeat of Jesus calling out the religious leaders at his first coming for not recognizing him in Matthew chapter 16 verses 1 through 3. Then the Pharisees and Sadducees came and testing him asked that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and threatening. Hypocrites! You know how to discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times.
Just as God in the Bible designs and creates animals and plants and humans according to his wishes, now we are learning how to design and create life.
Yuval Harari thinks big for a living. Not so long ago, he was an obscure history professor, but his 2014 book, Sapiens, changed all that. He explored the past, cramming 150,000 years of human history into 400 pages.
Authority will shift,
transforming himself into a literary phenomenon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again Yuval Noah Harari.
name dropped by the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and Barack Obama.
The other book that I really enjoyed, a book by an Israeli author, Yuval Harari.
His follow-up book, Homo Deus, tackled the future, elevating Harari to a sort of digital visionary.
Artificial intelligence may be used today for some harmless fun and games to get a few laughs, but it may very well be the tool through which Antichrist will deceive many. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world marveled and followed the beast. Revelation 13:3. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Revelation 13 verses 14 through 15. Will artificial intelligence be the means by which the image of the beast will seemingly resurrect from death, a mimic of the resurrection of Jesus Christ? Time will tell. My question for you, do you recognize the signs of the times?